Alright, after netting myself a reasonably decent result from rounds 1 and 2 on 27 battle points total, I found myself up against Tomb King's Master Harry, who is, I believe, like a 17-year-old guy, and I have a lot of respect and fear of him because he's actually won a lot of tournaments in New Zealand with Tomb Kings. He's actually managed to win NatCon a few times in a row. He's won some other tournaments and placed very highly in these sorts of tournaments before using Tomb Kings, and me, a bit of a noob with Tomb Kings, borrowing somebody else's list. Played with them a lot last year, like a year ago, and then picked them up again more recently. So really have much of a lesser idea of what I was doing. With Harry, though, he's actually taken a king on a chariot with the Flail of Skulls, Collar of Shapesh, and the Chariot of Fire. That's the main difference between his list and mine. He's only got 2 units of 4 chariots. I've got 3 units of 4. He's got more carrion than I do, and he's got an extra unit of skeleton warriors on foot. Now, you can see here in the middle of the photo, he's placing his counter for the Scorpion tunneling up in the middle of the field against my unit, and I've chosen to put all of my characters into this one unit of archers right in the center, but with my prince over on the catapult on the hill, and I've deployed thuswise. Now, Harry had more deployments than I did, and I started first, so he was able to sort of really get an idea of where I was going to be before weighing down one of the flanks with his characters. So he's actually chosen to put everybody over on the right-hand side. That's his side of where he is. It's at the top left of the photo, just so you know, whereas I've got my guys more or less stuck in the center. And without really knowing too much what to expect, I mean, having only played this matchup once before, I wasn't feeling too confident going into it. Next picture, you can see that his situation here, he's got his Tomb King on chariot over here with the other unit of 4 on the side, and he's got a big unit of 5 carrion behind the forest here. And with this Screamer Skull catapult in the forest, I can't charge him with my carrion first turn, whereas he can fly over and charge against my Skelepult first turn if he wants to. And he's got a couple of good options here, which I'm feeling very uncomfortable about, but we'll see how it turns out. Excuse me, unfortunately, Harry winning the roll for the first turn and deciding to take it. So I was really hoping to win the first turn just because I feel like I'd been out-deployed, so I wanted to correct some of my deployments mistakes in my first turn, but I didn't get that opportunity. So next turn, what you see here is him moving forward with his chariots and Scorpion and his unit of skeleton warriors on foot down at the bottom of the photo. And in the next photo, everything else moved forward as well. He's got his king at the top left there, and he's moved the carrion in front here so that he's out of my charge range for now, although not out of my magic move, threat distance. But he's got his carrion within range of his other characters, so that's going to be a problem. As you can see here, he's lining up to make an attack, not on my Skelepult, but on my mage bunker, and I realized that a little bit too late. I figured, yeah, well, if he does that, he's wasted his carrion, I can really stop him or whatever, and then charge with my chariots. But obviously, even if you've just got 3 scrolls, stopping your Tomb King's magic phase, sometimes you can't quite cut it, even though you have all those scrolls in hand. Next photo, what's happened is disastrously, the carrion have charged into the bunker here, containing both my Hierophant and my Lich Priest. And I want to explain how this came about. When I saw what his plan was, I waited for him to roll his dice, and he rolled a 5 with his Lich Priest on 2 dice. And I thought, well, I could scroll that, or I could try and stop it with 2 dice. Now, the chances of rolling a 5 or more on 2 dice are very high. You're looking at about 80% or so. And I decided to go for it, and I failed. And later in the game, I asked Harry whether he would have taken that opportunity. And, he was a bit iffy about it himself. But usually when you see a low roll like that, you generally want to stop with 2 dice. But as you can see here, the carrion have actually made it into combat. There's no characters here. There's no challenge. So his carrion can actually just attack the Hierophant and so forth. So that's what actually ended up happening. He attacks one of my Liches and kills it, and he attacks the Hierophant, reducing to 1 wound. And I attack back with the King and the Skeleton Warriors, and not actually wiping out the carrion, so he's going to have an opportunity to do the same thing in the following turn, which is an absolute disaster. So straight away from the first turn, I'm losing the game, and I'm actually at a significant disadvantage. In my following turn here, this is turn 1, mind you, just turn 1, flank charging with the Tomb Guard, so I can get a couple of attacks in on the carrion, but he's still actually able to kill my Hierophant here, so using all of my magic to try and cast Smiting on them, to try and cast Summoning on the Hierophant, he actually blows all 3 of his scrolls in my first turn, and I used my jar, just trying to prevent me from getting my 1 wound back from the Hierophant. He doesn't manage, and he does manage to stop me, so I'm left there with 1 wound in the close combat phase. I don't kill all of the carrion, and he strikes back and kills the Hierophant. So we're talking my turn 1, Hierophant down, starting to crumble. So an absolute disaster piece. I can't really put it any other way. My bad deployment plus my bad decision and plus my bad dice roll has led to this awkward situation where it's obvious that I'm going to get totally mutilated this game. Next picture, I've moved forward into the way of his king with my my light cav unit and ready with scorpions and chariots around to attack back if he decides to crush them and overrun into one of the scorpions, for example. But what ended up happening here is that the light cavalry crumbled due to the Hierophant dying, and my plan didn't work, so things going down the tubes even worse. Next photo shows you the carrion similarly getting into a position to actually block the chariots, but again, crumbling roll turns out to be a 10, meaning they all die, the king being out of range. Now, I actually rolled a 10 on both of those, the light cav and the carrion, meaning that 10, just enough for the light cav to die with leadership 5, and the carrion, leadership 4, just enough to die with 10 minus 4 equals 6, 2 wounds each, and ouch. Can't believe the shocking dice rolling. First of all, failing to dispel it, then crumbling on all my redirectors, so he's able to charge my chariots, he's able to charge with his guys on the left, and things just turning into a slugfest. Over here, you've got his chariots countercharging here when I was setting up a redirection. And he's even got a scorpion over there which he can move into his magic move phase, into his magic phase, because I'm out of dispel dice and scrolls completely. Next image shows you the king lining up. Decides not to even bother charging the scorpions. He just redirects it. He just moves around his guys so he can actually use the magic moves to charge. Nothing I can do to stop him, and things looking really ugly. Next image shows you him rolling over the hill. He's able to destroy the scorpion and my chariots and the Scream Skull catapult with his attack here. He's got the flail of skulls obviously to do the damage. So there's not much I can do against that. And in the next photo on the other side, the Scorpion does enter the combat with my chariots here, just getting smashed, completely smashed on that flank. And next photo, you can see a bit of an overview. The King has actually moved back to the unit of skeletons. I'm not too sure what the situation was there, but I don't have enough spell power to actually get me over to his side of the field due to my liches having gone down. And in the next photo, and this is the last photo, this game only lasted about 3 turns. He's actually flank charged me and rear charged me. Well, he's flank charged me on the left-hand side of the photo, and he frontal charged me with his chariots. That frontal charge was enough to wipe out 21 skeletons in a single round. And over the left-hand side, my king, as a last laugh, cutting down his prince in close combat when he moved in with his tomb guard, but his king is flank charged from the side, doing so much combat res to me that it wiped out my entire unit here. Forcing me to lose the game by 20 points to zip, so very disappointing. Got a total schooling by this player here, but Harry, much better player than I am with Tomb Kings, and me just really losing my cool, being a bit nervous at the start of the game, making some bad mistakes, having some bad dice rolls to boot, and you know, you just got to take it on the chin and carry on. So hopefully doing a bit better tomorrow in the next game. Coming up, I have a feeling that I might be up against somebody that I don't want to be playing in the first round tomorrow, but we'll see what the draw is, and I'll see if I can sort of pull back and win a few more games tomorrow and to come out with a decent showing after this catastrophe. But there you have it. These things happen, and it's happened to me.